Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Techado. And like for the last few months, I've been tracking down, as actually till December, I was tracking down this kind of evolvement of the coronavirus and the COVID-19 update and everything. I did not make any single video of this. Well, time to spill the beans. I am a healthcare professional and I have been working 2010 to 2015. In that journey, 3 years, I was doing my internship, then I did my residency. And after that, I was working as a physician as one of the best hospitals in India. And after that, like I am in a transition in US to do my medical licensing exam. So I've been studying for the past few years, and I have not talked about anything that is health related in the channel. But the time has come when we would talk about COVID-19 and this whole situation or this panic that is happening. Should we panic? Should we not panic? That's a very big question. And hence, we are going to separate this whole series in multiple episodes. And today we are going to talk about, at first, the history behind coronavirus and what is this coronavirus all about. So, to be very frank, this whole coronavirus, dates all the way back to 8000 BC. So, this is something that a lot of conspiracy theorists are talking about, that this is new or anything. No, it has been there for a long, long time. And they are divided into four different parts. One, which is alpha coronavirus, beta coronavirus, gamma coronavirus, and delta coronavirus. So there are four genus inside that, and in each genus there is separate species in it, and there are subclasses and a lot of stuff. So the alpha coronavirus line is placed around about 2000 to 2500 BC, though in some sort of websites you will see it's written an exact date. First of all, whenever you see exact date, there is nothing exact when it dates back so back, like so long back, like in BCEs and everything. So take as 2000 to 2500. The beta coronavirus developed around about 3000 to 3500, and the gamma coronavirus developed around about 2900 to 3000 BCE, and the delta developed around about 3000 to 3500 BCE. But everything, all of these coronaviruses were not human viruses. They were not viruses that were affecting the humans. This used to affect only warm-blooded animals. Warm-blooded animals, which means, for example, bats. So the first case actually started as in the form of bovine coronavirus, and in bovine coronavirus, it was found in the year of 1851 or 52, if I remember properly from my books, but it's kind of 1851. The thing was that this virus was never a human virus. It gets passed on from animals, and how we humans are in touch with those animals. Now, to be very, very precise and to know this very accurately, we will be talking about few stuff in the beginning, and then we are going to merge everything together for a better understanding. Now, from getting into history of it, so you'll be asking me, well, what sort of virus is this? Well, this is an RNA virus. There are two sort of viruses that we divide. There are DNA and the RNA. DNAs are usually what we healthcare professionals or doctors, we learn is that the double-stranded DNA, we put more stress on that. Microbiologists will go through all the other strands of DNA viruses, and in RNA, we are only going to emphasize on single-stranded RNA viruses and how they differ from each other. Today, we are not going to talk about DNA versus RNA virus. We'll cover that in another episode, maybe later. And I'm going to specifically make you understand what is the difference between a DNA virus and an RNA virus. In that way, you will understand that why this virus is so important and why there is so much of chaos involved in this. From that sort of scenario, we are going to now head over and talk about the scenario that happened and how many times has this virus has affected us. Well, if you go back after bovine coronavirus, there have been multiple incidents of coronavirus. As far as our generation is involved, we have seen something that happened, which was SARS. SARS, which was coronavirus denoted 1, is having it's 80 to 85% similar to the same SARS that is having with the coronavirus species 2, that's what they're calling it, but or novel coronavirus, they're calling it, because it's a new sort of coronavirus. And every time this virus affects us, we get a same syndrome, which is severe acute respiratory syndrome or distress syndrome, which means that if you'll have severe respiratory distress, and basically what it happens is that you are going to die out of collapse. Lung collapse in a layman's term, to be very frank. I won't go into how much respiratory rate or your SpO2 count or anything. In a layman's term, it is lung collapse, because you'll be going out of breath. That's what I would put into. The SARS coronavirus 2 is more or less the similar form, but it is kind of different because this is now affecting people with a lot of comorbid diseases. Now, remember this, that number of patients, those who suffer from diabetes, have inclined. Number of people, those who are suffering from hypertension, has inclined. Now, I'm only mentioning these two because diabetes and hypertension, remember these two, these are the two prime comorbid diseases that has got a very, very big correlation with coronavirus. And we are going to talk that also. Now, since you understood that, now we are going to talk about one more stuff, which is MERS. MERS, or like Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, which was Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome in Saudi Arabia, I think 2012. But then Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome had two more attacks in 2015 and 2018-ish in South Korea and other parts of the world in Asia also. Now, MERS was more from camels, and a lot of people is like, so there's a gray scenario. A lot of people say that it is through an infected, like a camel that a person got in touch with. That is like 100% accurate. Also, there is another evolvement of MERS, is that some people in Saudi Arabia or in Middle Eastern country was also using or eating meat of camels. So eating camel meat spread that virus at that time, which a lot of countries had took a very, very like a strict step at that time. But you will see there is a unique correlation. There is a very unique correlation with all these epidemics that happen over the years. The first and the foremost unique like stuff that you will see, that all were during the autumn to winter to early spring season. The reason behind is that there is a very important study that happened at the time of SARS that we can actually now come back to, is that virus to human transmission efficiency. Virus to human transmission efficiency means that what is the suitable weather for the virus to get to affect human. So virus to human transmission efficiency decreases when the temperatures are above around about 30-35 degree centigrade or 86 to 90 degree Fahrenheit, with a humidity more than 45 to 50%. Usually winters is you will not see more than 35 anywhere, like these places affected. Even if you consider this time when in Wuhan this virus spread, it was, I'll give you like a whole January and December report right now. So you'll be seeing a January and December report. In this whole report, you're not going to see their temperature going above, like 86 degree Fahrenheit or 35 degrees centigrade. They are all around in that zone of 24s, 25s, as far as my report goes through on this. Hold on a second. Just double check whether the reports are right. Yeah, so they are under 80 degree Fahrenheit, like, so this is a Fahrenheit based report. So under 80 degree Fahrenheit. So they're keeping at 42, 50, 53 degree Fahrenheit. So that, and that in that center of Wuhan, you'll see that the climate was less humid. So that favored the viral to human transmission efficiency thing. So this is one of the major things that we need to note. Yes, there is nothing to panic, because remember this, that with the change of weather, when this weather goes back and the summers hit, the temperature rises, you will see that like the virus to human transmission efficiency goes down, and hence slowly you will see that the number of cases drop. Number of cases drop. A very important example is that back at home in India, a lot of my friends are medical professionals. My dad is a medical professional, and he was asking me this question that we do not have a lot of cases, like what is the reason behind of us not having a lot of cases. But the scenario is this, that if you look into the weather, which I'm going to show you right now, the weather is changing significantly, and this will help us in the beginning. So right now you will see they are at 83% humidity, and they are 65 degrees in Fahrenheit, and this is just at night. This is like 4:16 a.m. 4:16 a.m. This is the temperature right now. So more humid the climate gets, the more hotter the climate becomes. This virus will slowly disappear. And then comes to this question that, okay, so Das, you're telling that this is going to be more humid, more hot, it's going to be better for us. Then what happened to Saudi Arabia? Aren't they like supposed to be Middle East? There should be hot all the time. No. Middle Easterns, if you go to Middle East and if you watch the weather pattern of a Middle East weather, is that during the winters are pretty cold, and they are not humid at all. They are dry on the other hand, because they are more like a desert kind of scenario. That is the reason they are more dry and they are hot. These are the amount of times that this virus has been for the last 20 to 30 years. Now, completely, I would not agree to any sort of conspiracy theory, because there should not be any conspiracy theory that a lot of very big media is promoting, saying that this virus originated in a laboratory, and this virus came from a lab, was transported from Canada to China, and in China, near Wuhan district seafood market, near that there is a laboratory which was getting tested for biological weapon or anything. This is completely irrational. We are not going to talk about that, because conspiracy theories are different. Cyber squatting is different, but true information that is known to us, I will be talking you about that only.